Leggings are probably one of the easiest pieces of clothing to make. I'm using a free pattern, and obviously I already have it printed and taped, and they take me less than 30 minutes to make, from pinning and cutting it out to sewing them up. Free patterns are a great way to test out a new to you pattern designer. They're also great for learning how to sew, since they are usually easy to make patterns. Leggings are made from 3 pieces of fabric: the 2 main body pieces and then a waistband. I cut mainly with my fabric scissors, but I also have a rotary cutter that I use sometimes to cut the parts that are at an awkward angle for me. In this pattern, there is no actual pattern piece for the waistband, since it is just a rectangle. The measurements are printed on the pattern, and I simply use my cutting mat and ruler and rotary cutter to cut out a rectangle in the appropriate measurements. Sewing up the leggings is super easy. There are 3 seams. First are the center front and the center back seams, which are the curved edges of your fabric pieces. These are sewn with the right sides of the fabric together. I'm doing it on a serger, but you can also just use a regular sewing machine. The leg seam is sewn by matching up the center front seams that you just sewed, and then clipping or pinning the edges of the legs together, and then sewing one long seam. Again, I'm doing this on my serger, but you can also use a regular sewing machine using a stretch stitch, since leggings are made from knit fabric. To make the waistband, first fold it in half, right sides together, and match up the short edges. Then sew them together, either on your serger or your regular sewing machine. Then you're going to fold your waistband in half so you have a loop. You're going to match up the seam that you just sewed with the back seam of the leggings. Then fold the waistband in half and use the center front to match up with the center front seam of your leggings. Then carefully stretch the waistband around the rest of the leggings. There's no elastic in the waistband of these leggings, so the waistband might seem a little snug, but that's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. As you're sewing it on, you want to make sure that you have all 3 layers of fabric caught in the stitching: the 2 layers of the waistband and then the main body of the leggings. Go slowly and carefully stretch your waistband so that it fits all the way around the leggings. because I'm serging, I tuck in my tails at the end of a seam that is not going to get sewn in another seam. The last thing you have to do is hem your legs. I do this on my regular sewing machine. I turn up the hem 2 times, making a narrow hem, maybe 1/4 of an inch. I like to hem knit fabrics using a zigzag stitch since it allows the fabric to stretch and I think it looks nicer.